We're here in Iowa City today where we're going to do something a little different, showing the history of Union Brewery, but taking the show underground. So how did you discover these caves just under the city?
As an archaeologist, I was interested in and familiar with like places in other cities in Illinois and Kentucky. And I had gone to a lot of brewery caves and other large excavations like this for factories and steam tunnels. And so I had been in a number of them before. And so I was working in Dubuque on a project, and part of it was a brewery cave that was going to be hit by a highway. And so I was able to study that cave and the 6 other caves in Dubuque, and that was when I was living here, and a friend of mine had said that he had worked in this building and he knew about these caves that were down here. And he told me about it, and after I'd done the study, I asked the owners if I could come down here and take a look at what was here. A lot of the caves had been collapsed or the buildings were gone. This is like the only intact ones that there's access to that I know much about in this part of the state.
So this view we have right now, it's very unusual. It's something we haven't done on this show before because we're, 30 feet below ground?
Yeah, easy.
We're in a cave, 30 feet below Iowa City. So what's directly above us?
Well, the brewery, the entire solid brick and stone brewery for 3.5 floors.
Union Brewery?
Yeah. So all these walls, this is the substrate of the foundation work to make the brewery happen. The beer, they have to level everything off and then build it up. And to build it, they'd have to make a scaffolding and lay all the bricks. And then when they got about 30 feet done, they would disassemble it and move it down and put 30 more feet of brick in and 30 more feet of stone or whatever it was in this arch pattern.
Now there's so much intricate. There are so many intricate pieces of this cave, and you were saying they started building it in the 1850s.
Yeah.
How long do you suppose it took to actually dig out all of this? I mean, how far does it even go?
Well, this one is 113 feet. All right, and we're about 30 feet down, and so they leveled it down to bedrock. And they started making brick and using stone, and they built it up and up and up and up and up. And usually it was German stone masters and masons and various labor forces, and there was 3 of them kind of going up all at the same time.
So I don't think I really asked, we're 30 feet down in this cave.
Sure.
Why did they have to go down so deep?
It's always 55 degrees down here.
Okay.
And that's the magic temperature.
There you go. It's quite an experience, you're right underground. This is where it all started, like you said, so.
Well, it's too bad we're kind of stuck here in the corner, but
yeah, there's a lot to see.
You can get the idea.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll come back when it's pumped out or dried out some.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for the tour. Thanks for showing us around. We appreciate it. So we just made our way out of the tunnel of beer caves. I'm here with Adam Skibby. You are the GIS administrator with University of Iowa.
Yes, that is correct.
So there were some parts that we couldn't get to because it was very wet. There's a little bit of flooding going on down there. So you're going to show us kind of the virtual look of what we couldn't get to today.
We were able to scan it when it was dry, so we'll be able to show you a little bit of what we could see and what you would have seen if you were to be able to go into the back rooms.
Okay, perfect. Let's dive in.
All right. If you were to go inside, this is what it looked like, at least when we were down there the first time scanning. There's your old, rusted out
That was our
ladder.
entry point,
Yep.
okay.
So this is the old ladder, not the new one.
Not the new nice one.
Right?
Yep.
The old nasty one. So we would have basically gone down in here. So what you would have seen if you would have been able to get into that room is something like this. So you've got the full dome, right? The full archway. I think you basically were able to look into that space.
Yeah, we could see all the way to the back wall.
So it used to be that there was all this detritus from the fire, right? So
I was just gonna ask that.
Yeah, so there were rings that were around barrels that were down there.
So these are like the metal rings
Yep.
that, okay.
Yep, around the casks, but large scale ones.
Yep.
And we and you can see there's the back wall there. So there's a little To be honest, I'm not entirely sure what this is. There's mention of a spring, a natural spring in there at one point, per Marlin. And then back here, actually, we think it's an old like copper cooling system. So that stuff was down there, basically left to die, because good luck getting it out of there.
From the early 1900s is the last time it was ever touched, probably.
Yeah, I mean, when this project started, I remember it very, very vividly. At least the scanning option on this. Yeah. Marlin gave us some hand-drawn maps, and he had the shape really, really well done. Like, I mean, it was like the scale and the shape were perfect.
Just from his own exploration down there.
Yeah. He had gotten it. The angle's perfect. He'd gotten the distances perfect. I didn't have a sense of what that meant on paper, right? But it basically looked just like this. So we started with those 6 original scans in the caves. And when we were all said and done, it took about 2.5 years and 30-some scans to get everything that we needed to get. But now we have the chimney tied here, and then the elevator shaft is tied to the basement, which is tied to the Fat Man Squeeze utility crawl, which is tied to the massage caves, which is tied to the lobby, which is tied to Market Street, or Lynch Street.
Yeah, all these things, you go from the very familiar to the unfamiliar.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, Adam, thank you so much for the virtual tour. We appreciate your time, and best of luck on your work to come. This is so exciting.
Yeah, no, I enjoy doing it.
There's actually quite a few Iowa collectors, and I mean, I hate to say it, but they die for a lot of this stuff up there.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff up there.
Yeah.
But I've been collecting 46 years, and that's what I've gotten.